All right, so welcome back to The Clueless Father, and in this sort of multi-parted segment, we're going to be taking up the 90 to 180 days time period. And first off, let me just start by saying that for all you parents with multiple children out there, my hat is off to you. I don't know how you do it, because just with one, there's just so much to do all the time that I even had to make notes for this, because you just forget stuff and you have to keep track of stuff. So anyways, multi-child parents out there, you guys are amazing. Okay, so first off, I have two sort of semi-rants that I want to take up. One is parenting sites are mainly for moms. They're written as if speaking to a mom. And, and as a father, I get a bit offended, because I go, well, what about the dad? So, people are always saying there's all these problems with dads and all these problems with fathers and having fathers involved, yet there's so much literature there that is supposed to be parenting literature, and it's just for mothers. So, if they could do something about that, that would be great. Get a few male writers on there or something, just so that it's balanced, because parent means father and mother. It doesn't mean one or the other. And second rant is to breastfeed or to not breastfeed. Now, obviously, first choice is breastfeeding. That's the way nature intended it to be. That's the way it should be. However, that doesn't always happen. And in the case of my wife and I, after, once the baby was first delivered, there was no milk at all for the first few days, and then there was for a couple weeks, and then we did other things and sort of stretched it out a little bit, but eventually the milk dried up just after a few weeks, and we had to go to, we went to the barley formula, which I've already showed you how to make in the other videos, because we tried with the powdered formula, and that just, the baby did not like that. She just started vomiting really bad stuff, and our pediatrician said, well, why don't you try the barley formula, because it's high in protein, and a lot of healthy children use it. So that's worked well for us. But my beef is that there's a lot of people out there who state that, if a mom doesn't breastfeed, she's not trying hard enough. And I think that's really judgmental, and I don't think they are in a position to make that judgment, because they don't know what the circumstances of those women are. They don't know what our circumstances are. So, I agree with them campaigning against manufacturers who are trying to replace breastfeeding. But just take it easy and don't be judgmental on those women who don't, because you don't know what the circumstances are. And on another note on that, I find it amazing that people are actually having to campaign for the permission to breastfeed in public. I mean, do people really have a problem with women breastfeeding in public? I can't imagine why, but apparently it's a problem, and that's just bizarre to me. But I think that's just a residual of the puritanical society or something. I don't know. I mean, Christ, with the amount of people watching porn on the internet, you wouldn't even possibly imagine that somebody would get in a tiz about a mother breastfeeding their child in public. I mean, give me a break. So yeah, enough on the rants. Randomness for this. If there's women watching this, it's possible that you didn't know this, but sometimes when men are like in the bathroom and they're peeing, they get this full body shiver that happens. And actually, I discovered that there is one sentence which can produce that same reaction in a father, and that is, "Hi, honey, I'm in Louis Vitton with a friend." Anyhow, I didn't know it. I know now. Okay, observations on this 3 to 6 month time period. Everything is the same for the most part, but it gets a little harder because your baby is moving around a lot more. There's a lot more motion occurring. They're discovering new things. They're trying to crawl. They're trying to talk. So things like diaper change is suddenly a lot harder because they're wriggling like a little fish trying to move around while you're trying to change the diaper, which gets really exciting when the diaper is like full of shit, really. So yeah, just be aware of that things get a little bit more difficult because the baby moves around a lot. They start teething during this time period, and there can be a lot of crying and upset from the baby that you don't know what it comes from, and it's because their teeth are starting to come in. So if they're crying and you can't seem to figure out why, wash your hands really well with a good hand sanitizer and so forth, dry them off, and your baby will like to chew on your finger. There's other little remedies that you can do, like these are like old mother's tales type remedies, but like you can get a nice clean cold carrot, like you put the carrot in the fridge and you let them chew on it, and that helps them. There's also different teething chew toys which you can buy in the store, which you put in the fridge, and they're just filled with, like, I don't know what they're filled with, gels or something like that, and the baby can chew on them. So you're going to want to get a few of those and do so. Just buy them because they're going to be chewing on them. There is something that a baby starts doing, which is, it's before they actually even start crawling. And I've heard it called by skwinking, I've heard it called skitching, but it's sort of like this MC Hammer type move that they do, like a breakdancing type move prior to crawling. And they're going to be doing that for a few weeks, and then that evolves into crawling. Our daughter is now actually like crawling across the floors, but she was doing this skitching thing, and she still is a little bit, particularly in her crib and so forth. But that's what it is. You can help them a lot through this and make it easier for them by buying these nice soft foam floor mats. We bought one for the living room over there, and we also have one in my office when I'm working and looking after her. She's right there on the floor, and we put toys on and stuff like that, and she can crawl around on it. And it's comfy because they also fall over, and it makes, when they bang their head and stuff, not as hard, which is good for a safety point. In terms of simplifying things, during this time period, once they hit about 6 months, apparently you don't need to sterilize the bottles anymore if the area you're living in has really good water coming out of the tap and so forth. So you just need to put them in the drying rack, and when they're dry, they're done. The area that we live in has bad water, as I've mentioned before, so we're continuing to sterilize. However, we're not sterilizing the bath water anymore because she doesn't need that anymore, and it's not that she's not drinking that. We take care in the bath to make sure she doesn't put her hands in her mouth while we're giving her the bath, and also that no water goes into her mouth, her eyes, her ears, stuff like that. So check with your pediatrician, but that might make things easier for you.